Hey guys, today we have task number 5 of lesson number 11. What we are going to do? Two strings are given. Add spaces characters to the shorter one so that their lengths become the same. Use StringBuilder class also. So what we have? Two strings are given. What does it mean? That strings are given, they are not inputted by the user. They are given. We have them in the result example. So this one, it is string number 1, and this one, it is string number 2. And we have to add spaces, white spaces, characters to this shorter one so that their lengths become the same. So the first we need to understand which of these strings are shorter. So of course this one is shorter, and we have to add how many spaces. Let's count. Here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 characters, and here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, only 4 characters. So to make their lengths equal, we need to add here 2 spaces. And we need to output the result. String 1 is with 2 spaces, extra 2 spaces, and this one is the same as it was before. Yes. So, and we have 2 more nodes here. It is better to use append method. It is standard method of StringBuilder class. And the node number 2, create a method named add spaces with 2 arguments, and the arguments are the string, this string which is shorter, to add to it 2 spaces, and the second argument is the number of the space characters to add. So this method is our own method. It will be our own method. We have to create it, and this method, it is the standard method of StringBuilder class. So let's create our project. We need to do it console project, and we have to copy this name of our project. Okay. After, we need to copy the name of CS file. Okay. Yes. And one more thing, we need to copy and to place it to comment our task. Okay, so here we have just for us and for me, it is better to check this your programs when I see the task here. So what we are going to do first, we need to create the variables, variable string 1 and variable string 2 with these values, because they are given, the values are given, we don't need to input them. So let's create and declare our variables. We need to do it within the main function. So first we have to place that it will be string type, and then let's take the name for our first variable as 1, and it is equal to the first this number. It is number, but it is string. Yes. The compiler doesn't understand these numbers as numbers because it is a string. We have it in double quotations. It's just a text for the compiler. So the first string, and the same we can do for the next one. We can copy this and place it here. Let's take the name as 2, and we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We have to add 5, 6. So it is the second variable, the second string. And now first we are going to input them as we have it here in the resulting example. So we need to print out string1 equals to the value of the string1. Then we have a dot here, and then string2 equals to the value of the string2, and dot again. So we are going to use console write line and dollar sign. Then we have, let's copy the beginning, and then inside these curly braces we need to put s1 variable, because it is s1, yes, s1. Then we have a dot and space here, space character. Then again copy this string2, and in curly brackets we need to put string2 here, and again dot. So why we can't use here this one? Yes, we could do it, but if we change this, we need to change it here also, and we don't want to change everywhere. So if we change something here, for example, we'll clear up this number, so it will be changed here also. Yes, so we don't need it twice, to do it twice. Okay, so we have done this one. So let's think of what we are going to do next. We are going to create this method with two arguments. The string one of them which is shorter. This one, yes, string1, but we don't know, we have to do it by the program. We have to understand which of these strings is shorter than the other one. And then we are going to pass this string as an argument, one of the argument of this method, and the second argument will be the number of the spaces to add. We'll just create this method, but we don't know what exactly to pass there, to pass to this method. Yes, but we will create it. So let's create this method. We are going to do it after the main method, after this curly brace, closing curly brace. So it will be static, and it will return the string, the new string, the string which will be with the spaces after. Yes, this new string will be with two spaces. So this method will return string type. We need to put it here, string type. Then we have to put identifier of our method. It is add spaces method. Let's type it ourselves. Add spaces method. And we have two parameters. The first parameter is a string, and let's call it just input string. Just input. It is a string, and the number of spaces. So it will be integer type, and number space. Let's call it num spaces. So it means that it will be the number of the spaces we have to add to this string. Curly braces for our method, but we don't know what to do, just we call it. And to pass this string, we need to compare the lengths of this string, what the string s1 or s2 we have to pass to this method, which of them. So we need to compare the lengths, and when the computer understands that this length is shorter than this length, we need to pass s1 to this method. So let's compare. We need to create two variables for the length of these variables. So let's call it, it will be integer variables, because there will be the length, the number 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes. So the first will be int L1, length 1, equals to S1 dot length. We have a method, standard method, to understand how many characters is inside this S1 variable. And the second, the same, we will create the variable L2 for the second, to store the length of the second string. So here will be number 1, 2, 3, 4 characters, and here will be 6 characters. But we can change it. Yes, if we will change it, so it will be 3 here. So we need to do it. We need to do it to understand the length of this variable. Okay, now we have to compare which of these variable is bigger than the other variable. So we have to put if statement inside the rounded braces. We need to put the comparison. So what we have to compare? This one and this one. This variable with this variable. If L1 is greater than L2, if it is greater, so we need to call this method with this variable, to pass this variable to this method, because it will be less, shorter, and we need to put here shorter. So if the comparison is true, let's do it here. We need to use some variable. For example, let's do it S2 to store the returning value. Yes, so we have to call this method and to pass here L2 because it is shorter. The first is input. The first is string, not L2, of course. It is the length. We need to pass S1. S1, it is or do it. Let's do it S2. S2 is less. Yes. So S2 will be the value of the returning string, and we have to pass S2 because it is less in this, because of this comparison, S2, and the number of the spaces. How to count the number of the spaces? For example, we have this length and this length. To count the number of the spaces, we have 2 here, 2 spaces. We need to take this value minus this value. So we will get 2. 6 minus 4, we will get 2. Yes, so L2 we have the length, and L1 we have the length of this string. So here we have to put L2 minus, L1 is bigger. In this case, L1 is bigger, so L1 minus L2. And that's all. So S2, after this method, after calling this method, we don't have it here yet, but we will do it here. It returns the string with spaces and assign it again to S2. And we have else if here. The situation when we have L2 is bigger than L1. So we need to put it here, if, or else if. It is better, else if L2 is bigger than L1, so the length of the second string is bigger than the length of the first string. Okay, what we are going to do, if this comparison is true, we are going to use this S1 string to pass it to add spaces method. So S1 will be equal to add spaces method, and we are going to pass S1 and the number of the spaces to add will be equal to L2 length of this string minus L1 length of this string. So we need to put L2 minus L1. Okay. So after this, when the compiler will do this, we will have in S1, for example, this string will be like this with two spaces. Yes, it will be here. But first we have to make this code to add these spaces. So after this we will have here the string, shorter string, after this else if, yes, because the L2 is bigger than L1 in our case. So we have S1 string is here instead of this argument, and instead of this argument we have number 2, because L2 minus L1 will be two characters, two spaces to add. So here we have 2 and here we have S1. So we are going to change our string, input string, by adding to it 2 spaces. But we know that string value, string class, doesn't allow to change something, to change our string. It doesn't allow to do it. But we can use StringBuilder class to append something to the string, to our string. So we need to put here StringBuilder class to initialize the instance of the class. So let's do it. StringBuilder, it is the name of our class, and we know it by the color. It is a class. So we have to take some variable to make it instance of this class. Let's take S variable. It is an instance of this class, equals to new StringBuilder. We have it here. And the StringBuilder have, look here, it is some overloadings here. So we will have this one. So we need here to put our string. So we need here our input string. So it is our string. It means that we make this variable equals to our string 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes, because we pass this S1 to our add space. So here we have S1, which is equal to 1, 2, 3, 4, and here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and now inside this variable we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and we are going to add to this 1, 2, 3, 4 2 spaces. So let's do it using the for loop, because we don't know how many spaces will be here. Yes, now we know it, but if we change something, we don't know what to do. Yes, so we need to put spaces inside the loop, and we will take for loop, and we will add space by space. So the first we have to have here the counter for the loop. Let's take I, for example, I equals to 0, and I, while I is less than num spaces. How many spaces? Num spaces. Num spaces. And we have to increase to increment it. And the iterations of the loop we are going to add to our S string the space one by one. The first iteration, one space, the second iteration, the second space, and if we have here the most spaces, for example 4 spaces, so it will be 4 iterations for the for loop, and we do it one by one, step by step. So as we have the method append, it is a method of StringBuilder class, so we can append to the end of this string with 1 2 3 4. We can append a new character. Append, let's take it, append. And what we are going to add? We are going to add the space, just space. Inside these quotations we need to put space. So after the first iteration of this for loop, we will have instead of 1 2 3 4, we will have 1 2 3 4 space. And after the second iteration, we will have 1 2 3 4 space space, one more space. Yes. And now after this loop, we are going to return this new string. String will be new because the value of it was changed. Yes, we have another value. So we are going to return it, to return this value to the program. Return S, just S. And let's do it to string method, because it is not the string, and after a StringBuilder class it is not a string, so we need to do it to create a new string, to invert it to the string. So we have the method toString to invert it to the string. Okay. If we don't do it, there will be an error, because the returning type of our method, it is a string type. So we need to do it to string here. So after all of this, here the compiler calls this method. He adds the spaces, and after this we are going to return this result, new result. Let's copy it, and we have to do it inside console write line method, $sign, and then we will place result string1 equals to what? Equals to S1, yes, but we have to do it in curly braces, S1, and S2 equals to S2, and it is better to use here a dot to understand where will be the end of this first S1 string. So we have no any errors here. Yes, So we can run our project, Control F5. Okay, and we have here the first string 1, 2, 3, 4, dot string 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and the result we have 2 extra spaces here because we have added it, yes, and the same as we have it in our resulting example. So now don't forget to save this project, to find this L11 Task5 CS file and to upload it to the Moodle system. Okay, wish you good luck.